The next person coming to the stage is here for the first time, which is delightful to me. Her performing background began at 7 years old, singing songs from Annie. By 17, she'd made the flight from Florida to UCLA, and after graduation spent most of her 20s in pursuit of that elusive acting career. And then she says her most empowering creative moment was the decision to write and produce her own material, which opened up many juicy adventures and opportunities. With a craving to integrate all of her skills, she spent the last few years entertaining corporate audiences and seminars internationally. Now she feels poised for a new phase in her creative life, and tonight is part of that. Jean wants to thank everyone who came tonight because reading her writing to you is pure pleasure. And this is a beautiful piece, and it is called Two Cats. Please welcome Jean Franz Blau.
I was born in the Chinese year of the dog. I had 3 growing up. Donnie, the old dachshund mutt, Sassy, the black miniature poodle, and Sassy's puppy, Oliver Wilbur Wimpy Franz Blau III with an underbite. He was a peekaboo because Sassy went with a Pekingese boy dog. Pekingese plus poodle equals peekaboo. This is really fun math for a little girl. I always thought that I'd have a dog as a grown-up. My vision for myself for years was to have a man, a household, and a dog, not a cat. I never liked cats. I take their aloofness personally. Even though I'm allergic to cats, I was willing to house sit for my friend Donna years ago. She loved her cat Ichi so much she couldn't imagine him all alone while she was away. So I took allergy meds and made myself comfortable. I was reading one of the books in her library before bed. It's really strange to sleep in a friend's bed. Anyway, Ichi jumped on and right on top of me. That's sort of friendly, I thought, until the results of his efforts began to soak through the comforter to my pajamas. Cat piss. I didn't house sit often. My career was finally beginning to take off. I became a traveling corporate trainer, like Wendy said, a road warrior. Emerald Isle and Priority Club and Mileage Plus, these were my memberships, like up in the air. And these years of being a single professional affected me. I became very fast, very slick, very just so. I lost my dog readiness. One of my friends had this hyper spazzy dog, and when we would take a walk, she would offer me the leash, and I'm thinking, no thank you, that leash probably has poop molecules on it. I was becoming clean and finicky, a dog person only in theory. During this time, I was in a new relationship. His name was Shannon. I met him at a Chamber of Commerce meeting. My first impression when I walked into his apartment, litter box. My cats at this point were like moving furniture to me. When one would come up, I would pet her with a finger, knowing I'll have to go wash that finger and be careful not to touch my eyes with it, because my eyes will eventually become itchy and red anyway. But Shannon was sweet. Sweet enough that, this is gonna get personal, when I had a maddening feminine itch, he, in the middle of the night, walked me to the drugstore for a remedy. A remedy that did not work. I went to the girl doctor over and over. What STD is creating this maddening nighttime itch? They found nothing until my allergy doctor explained to me that the itch was a reaction to the cats. My pussy was allergic to his. It was a metaphor. It was a metaphor. The relationship with Shannon blew apart of its own accord. This happens when people hook up before knowing each other. We were impatient. We were fast. My travel lifestyle started to run its course because I developed, pardon the pun, pet peeves about travel. Like this sickening, does anybody travel the way I'm talking about or has in their, okay. This sickening, scratching noise that like a hanger with a metal top makes as it grates across the metal rod? Yes. Anyway, the economy was slowing down, so I was in town more anyway, so what I noticed about myself is that I stayed fast. I wanted to build my business in Los Angeles, so I was on the board of directors of my training association and started a mastermind group which met at 7:30 a.m. on Saturday mornings, attended copious amounts of networking events, and cold called and followed up. And that's when I met Zev. Zev, who taught me to slow down. Somehow, he's able to work full-time, co-write a screenplay, have a social life, and still meander on the weekends. Hours and hours of just being, just human being. Zev likes to cook for us. We watch tons of movies. We have cozy routines. Zev is Hebrew for wolf, a canine animal. Zev has 2 cats. For the first 2 weeks of our relationship, when I would visit, I had some allergic reactions, and then they started to subside. I'd been receiving allergy shots for years. I went to my doctor, had a full panel done, and learned that I was no longer allergic. And so I slowly learned what it was like to pet a cat with no consequences. I learned their names and tuned into the ongoing lives of these 2 beings, Russ Meyer and Irving Claw. Russ is gray and poofy, beautiful to look at and kind of dumb. Irving is a striped, recovered street cat, more affectionate and also more apt to hiss. Russ is obsessed that he always be able to get into this particular kitchen cabinet. Once I was wiping down the counters and Russ kept eyeballing me to see what would happen to the doorway, his doorway, to the womb. So I closed it and I left the kitchen. Russ made a beeline to the cabinet and with his paw, he popped open that door and then was satisfied and then sauntered away. I still don't understand it. That door is always open 24/7. Irving meows loudly every evening at around 11 p.m. and obstinately at 6:30 a.m. until breakfast is served. I'm grateful that Zev's cats are boys. This is strange, I know, but the idea of his shopping for food and scratching behind the ears of his 2 girls makes me feel a little jealous. But as boys, there's no jealousy, it's just the cats. I believe the cats divide the world into 2 categories, things that stay in the apartment and things that leave. Zev and I are included in the latter. When I return to the apartment, the cats certainly want to examine the objects that have arrived, me, my suitcase. Zev tells the cats to come to Auntie Jean. I feel weird about that title. I don't want to be just an auntie. I've changed. Now I look forward to seeing them. I want them to sit on my lap. And this is more apt to happen with Irving. Russ may be willing to sniff me when I'm meditating. I asked Zev to show me photos. This actually freaked me out when this happened because I knew I was different. I asked him to show me photos of them when they were kittens. And once, when I was working on my laptop at the kitchen table, Irving made himself comfortable in an empty fruit bowl. I took a photo with my phone and Facebooked it. At dinner with a colleague, I found myself exchanging cat stories. I asked her to send me a photo of hers so that I could send her the photo of Irving in the fruit bowl, and Irving's was much cuter. I don't know if I'm actually a cat person. I do know that I'm a Russ and Irving person, that I'm a slower person, and that I'm a Zev person. Thank you.